Chris Engelbrecht with Engelbrecht Grills, and today we're going to discuss building your fire. But first, I think we should start off with what tools we're going to use, or what tools that I use. So I have my axe. Most of the time the wood's already going to be chunked up into smaller pieces, but maybe I want even a smaller piece, and I'll go ahead and split that again with the axe. And so I'm not swinging it too. I use a sledgehammer, line the axe onto the wood, and then drive it in with a sledgehammer. The next tools that I use is, this is called a froe. I don't know if you can see it. I made it out of an old railroad spike. And again, you can find these online. There's other makers for them. A froe, or you can do the same thing with a hatchet, this is how you're going to cut up your smaller kindling. Basically, you just drive it like this, drive it down, and then I end up following up with I use a dead blow just for safety. You get more control, and then just follow it down like that. And that'll give me my smaller kindling. And the last tool that we're going to use is our fire rake. This is the one that we build here. This is going to be handy. I mean, you could use a fireplace rake too, but they're just handy. Actually, I styled this from a blacksmithing tool. It's pretty much the same thing. But it's just handy to move your coals around, move your logs around without, do not use your hands, obviously, or even gloves, but it's just a really handy tool to move your coals around. So there's two ways to start a fire, and I'm going to get into the reason why I have a chimney starter here. Is one, you kind of do the campfire method. You're going to have your logs, use your froe, your hatchets, build your smaller kindling up, and build your fire in that aspect. The other method is, to be honest, is the one that I use. I should say, why do you want to use the first method? Say if I had time and I really wanted to get a really nice product off the grill, I'm going to use the same species of wood. I'm going to split it down into kindling. I'm going to have, all my coals are going to be the same, and I'm going to get a really nice and really a single flavor profile off of that. There is another, and we probably will get into that later, where you start mixing different blends to get a different, and it's like seasonings, like salt and pepper and garlic and so forth, and why you mix it. But there is that aspect too of where you start blending woods and why. But it's a little bit lazy, I guess you could say. But one aspect that I use, and I do it a lot, is I get my chimney starter, I fill it full of lump charcoal, I get that hot, and I'll show you here in a second, and that's how I'm going to build my fire. Just get the couple logs, throw some hot coals down through the middle, and I'm ready to go with that. So if you're cooking on our stuff, or you ever wondered what the inside of a 1000 series looks like before it gets powder coated, well, this is it. I thought it'd be a lot easier to explain how I set up my fire with this as opposed to having a cooking grate and kind of stuffing away. So what I do, again, I like when I'm grilling, I have a hot side and I have a cold side when I'm grilling. Basically searing, resting, and I put my logs in typical setup like this, then take my kindling, stack my kindling, maybe put another chunk over top of that. Once that's lit, it'll start getting into embers. I like the bark facing on the inside. Let's see if I can show you. I like the bark facing on the inside. It's just when I first start a fire, it's rough in texture. That will also break down the coals a little quicker. And of course, if we are worried about mellowing out the flavor and so forth, so then the bark will be burnt off by then. The nice thing about lighting your fire inside the grill is you like an even grill. You don't want tall flames. So when you first start it, you're going to have some tall flames coming up. That means all your heat's centralized in one location. When this starts burning down, all the grill gets heated up, and that'll just give us our even heat. Plus our embers are going to spread out more and give us more of an even heat. But this is the setup that I usually do. I just place my logs adjacent to each other. I'll get my charcoal, my lump charcoal, whatever. I'm not a big fan of briquettes. All the binders in it, you want airflow to go through, and that's going to get you a nice fire. The binders in it, it creates a lot of ash because there's just a lot of fillers in and so forth. So I use lump for everything. But I'll get my charcoal going in here, and then once it gets hot, I just pour it down in this gap here, and it wasn't not much longer than that, and I'm going. I still want my heat to even out. I want the cooking grates right here. I want all this material to get hot. I want the heat to be getting the spread out. I want the hull getting hot. I like a hot, even grill. Even though I have a searing side and a resting side over here, I still want the grill itself getting warm. So in a nutshell, this is going to be how you're going to start your fire. Those will be the tools you're going to need and so forth. You're going to find a method that you're going to be comfortable with, that you're just going to like. Again, there's going to be some experimentation that you're going to do as you go along through it, as you learn. So this is going to be just like college. So we went through this lecture. The next few videos, we're going to be actually lighting a fire and cooking.